pretty thin group today, isn't it?
I don't think
that's correct.
How about Tora Bora? Are U.S. troops now in the region helping Afghan forces search those caves and tunnels, and are, as has been reported, hundreds more perhaps on the way to thoroughly search that region?
Yes, and yes.
Could you tell us how many going to be
Hundreds
sent?
more, no, let me say yes, and whatever is needed will be sent. And it won't be just U.S., it'll be coalition forces. So what you have is a bunch of caves. They're being triaged and put in priority order. Then the Afghan forces and coalition forces are going into those caves and looking for information and evidence and people and weapons and trying to determine what we can do to deal with terrorists all across the globe. And I must say that there has been information that has been gathered in Afghanistan that has directly resulted in the arrest of people across the world, in other side of the globe, and undoubtedly have prevented other terrorist activities. So it's a very worthwhile thing to be doing.
Well, those troops
throughout the country, can you give us a sense of rules of engagement?
Oh, well, think of it this way. We were doing an awful lot of bombing. Now we're doing relatively little because we don't have a lot of targets where we find concentrations of military equipment or military people, enemies. The people that are going into these caves obviously understand what they're up against. They're going into areas that have been heavily bombed. The assumption is anyone in there is dead. But if you make that assumption, you can get in an awful lot of trouble awful fast. So they're exercising a great deal of care. And
at least possible that Osama bin Laden.
There was an attack on a convoy of leadership that was identified through various intelligence means, and that was done within the last 24 hours.
Where was that?
I cannot give you the location.
I saw it. I can't remember either. But it was a large convoy, and there were a lot of people killed and a lot of vehicles damaged or destroyed, I should say.
Yes, sir.
I could, but I haven't decided if I want to, and I don't have the correct pronunciation.